Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and hot rodders of all ages. We're back here on a little tea bucket project. I got a little bit of time, so I thought I'd do another video. I think when I left off the last time, we just threw the body back on, found a little alignment issue, or clearance issue, not alignment, clearance issue with the little bracket on the transmission that we're not going to use, so we cut that off. And as you can see, we have the body mounted on there now. Let's get the legal stuff out of the way. I am no way, shape, or form sponsored by anybody for this video. I just thought I'd put it out just because I thought I'd try something new. And hopefully it'll help somebody, whether you're building your first one or one of the little tips or tricks that I can throw in there, that you hadn't thought about, or you thought about it, you knew about it, and it's just been a long time since you used it. So it was way back in the memory box. So today we're going to try and mount the steering column and the steering box. So as you can see, underneath the body in there, let me see if I can zoom in on it. We got some bungs put into the plywood and fiberglass in there. There's a hole already drilled in it when I received this. So I'm not quite sure if that hole is always there or not. I've talked to a couple people who've built this, and their holes weren't in there, but this one is. So we're going to go with that. Hopefully it's drilled in the right place, and we don't have any issues with that. So we'll move over here. As you can see, that's where the steering box will go on the outside. It's really tight up against the firewall there, and that'll give you, it just packages everything in there really nice. So nice and clean. A lot of times they've got the steering shaft that comes way out up towards the front. This doesn't have that. So it's kind of like a side steer box, if you would. I apologize for my voice, a little under the weather, but I'm still out here in the shop because I can either be sick in the shop doing what I like, or I can be sick at home laying on the couch doing nothing. So we might as well be out here in the shop, trying to do something. So one of the reasons why I like this, or decided to do this video, is, as you can see, you're able to buy an assembly manual on this step by step, which is good. It's kind of generic because it covers several different of their T-bucket builds. This one has a trunk on it. It's got the different steering on it. This has got the long steering on it. Our steering, remember, goes right up here. So this book does not cover this exact steering, but it gives you some pretty good tips on there. Anything from fuel tank and battery mount. Let's see, the radiator grill shell, master cylinder brake lines. It's a good universal book on this. Unfortunately, universal means it doesn't fit anything, and everything needs to be modified on there, as far as I'm concerned. So, this book tells you about hooking the steering up, and this is the bracket they're showing. As you can tell, our bracket doesn't look the same as that, but that's okay. We'll adapt and overcome on this. The kit comes with everything here, minus the tools. One thing it did have, or does have, a couple 3/8 bolts, one in the bottom and one in the top here. Now this one in the top, as you can see, it's going to be with the firewall, or not the firewall, the dashboard running here, and it's mounted against the firewall. This one's going to be a pain in the butt to get to. So one of the little tricks that I've learned over the years from an old timer, I've taken a piece of all thread, cut it just a little bit longer, and then on the end of that, if you can see that, you can take a screwdriver. I'll just use my 6-inch scale here, and I can put a screwdriver in there and I can screw that in. So I'll screw that into the firewall, and then I can just slide that on, put my nut on the back side of that, and that'll look good. Let's go over to kit. We've got some clamps that'll go in here. 2 clamps to hold the steering column. You got these special little no head nuts on there. You know, they'll go through like this. And you do have a little bit of adjustment on that. So let's just go ahead and put these in before I might be messing myself up here, but we can always take them off. So if you just give me a second. So you got a top one and a bottom one. Looks like a piece of rubber. If the steering column's a little loose in there, you put a piece of rubber in there. They supply that. Like I said, it's a pretty nice little kit. For some reason, this one's got a big old washer on there. We don't need that. Yeah, I knew I'd get it in there. And the last one. And there you go. You can see you can rotate these one way or another. So. All right, so let me wheel you over and see if I can zoom in, and we'll install this right quick, hopefully. Sorry about that. It's a one-man band here. Okay, as you can see, this is where the steering bracket will mount. And this is that stud we'll put in. Can't really see it from where I got the tripod mounted, so I just wanted to show you how that was done. Now we'll go back to the tripod. Try not to break anything. All right, I think that might work. And we might have to get a longer. I think I can get on there. Thought I might have to get a longer extension to put that on. There, we got those 2 bolts. Now we got a couple bolts to go through the firewall. Might as well just go ahead and put those in. And you pretty well want to leave everything loose until you get all the bolts in. It helps a lot. And I'm not going to tighten these bolts up all the way because this is just a mock-up, but I do want to put them in. And it's a tight fit, but as you can see, they do go in. I'd rather have a tight fit than have to waller some holes out. Now I'll go ahead and snug these two up just a little bit. Okay, and there we have that again. Pretty easy peasy, as you can see. Now let's set that steering column in there and see what that looks like. It does have a quick connect on the steering wheel. That's a pretty nice steering wheel that we got with it. Okay, as you can see, there it is. Now, of course, this is going to go in there about like that because of the U-joint and everything is going to be really close. So that'll be the next. If I can get this to stay. Just go ahead and take that out. So steering box will be next on here. So I'll do a little fine tuning, get my nuts and bolts just exactly the way I want them. But that gives you the idea on where we're going with this. So pretty simple, couple hand tools, 9/16 socket and wrench. And that should get you a good start on this. So once again, thanks for watching, and we'll see you later.